So if you've waken up and question the narrative, and it's about our history and our buildings that are remnants from our past that do not fit the narrative, well, I got the keys to give you guys. The Sunborn Fire insurance maps are actually the golden ticket library, and all the old maps that you can find are actually tickets because on the old maps they actually show like the actual buildings that were built on that map, and that's a way to identify buildings to go look back. And so the Sunborn map collection consists of uniform series of large scale maps dating from 1867 to present and depicting the commercial, industrial, and residential sections some 12,000 cities and towns in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. The maps were designed to assist fire insurance agents in determining the degree of hazard associated with the particular property, and therefore show the size, shape, and construction of the dwelling, commercial building, and factories, as well as firewalls, locations of windows and doors, sprinkler systems, and the type of roof. The map also indicates with and names of streets and property boundaries, buildings used, and the house and block numbers. Okay, so 1867 in the United States, and this is a coordinated effort. I want you to understand this before they did these maps. Like all these cities laid out all their streets perfectly. So let's go ahead and look at this map to show you guys the key ledger. So if you notice that this one, it's fireproof construction. I really want you to understand that. They really were conscious of fire back then because magically all of these buildings would burn down in an hour that were made of brick and stone and steel. Okay, so now that you kind of know how to look through the thing, let's go through and look at one of the maps. So this is of Spokane. The reason why I chose this is because I want to focus in on number two. And so these highlighted areas are actually which portion of the map you'll be looking at. So two is the next one. So we don't have to go all the way to the end of the rainbow to find that one. So on this one, the reason why I picked it is because of the mills. And the reason why I picked the mills is because all over the United States, well, east, west of Omaha, when we got the railroad, all of these factories just magically appeared. Massive, well built factories all over the United States. And then basically within 50 years were just shut down. And so when you think about it, the time and effort it actually takes to build stuff, you know, that these took probably decades to build because they had Stone Age tools. They had a horse and wagon and they had block and tackle. No cranes, no forklifts, no skid steers, none of that stuff. No backhoes, no mini X's, none of that. No scissor lifts. I mean, they didn't have any of that stuff. And so when you think about that, what they actually built, and so I wish I had pictures of this mill to show you the real detail of what they actually built. Now I want you to get an idea of the time frame I'm talking about. So the official incorporation of Seattle by the territory legislate on December 2nd, 1869, and Seattle had more than 2,000 people. Okay, so they had 2,000 residents in Seattle. Sorry, I have a condition where my muscles in my jaw are like it's like a rubber band, and it uh it affects when I speak, and it's a messed up deal. But normally I wouldn't have never said anything, but I'm sure people are like, why does he do that? It's one of those things, and especially when I'm trying to concentrate to fill you guys in on all the information that I need to share with you guys so you can start to get awoken and start to see. So I want you to know that Seattle's first railroad depot was in 1880, and this Cycra is kind of like a general year, not general year, but like a vague year. They don't know the exact date, but they started laying the track from Seattle to Walla Walla in May 1st, 1874. So I want to know where they got the train from. That means somebody had to produce this train. That means somebody had to make the train, set it up on the tracks, make the tracks. Where did Seattle get this before they got the railroad? And that's the other thing is when you think about the old west of Seattle. Now here's some buildings that they're showing in Seattle that are the old buildings, like this one right here. Think about these all over the United States built the same high quality, well decorated inside and out. And if they survived the Great Purge, they're still lasting today. Now, what I'm going to show you is the Sunborn maps of this crazy build that Seattle also did. And so let's go ahead and look at that. So this one right here, I want to go, these are Sanborn maps that I found. Luckily, I found these because it really does show the crazy build of this. Okay, if we zoom in on Seattle in 1884, and basically we'll use that as a reference point, or 1880, when they say they got the first train depot. Okay, so let's look down in here and look at all of this building. Now, if they survived, they're still there today. And so what I want to show you is someone took a razor or a scalpel and just went and paper mache'd this and cut it up. And I'll show you why. So if you looked at the other ones, they're actually books and they're prints. And so when you look at this one again, you can see that somebody cut it up. And there's a reason being they're trying to hide history because this is going to get interesting as you watch this. All right, so 88. So let's take a look at that. Okay. You can see they actually started to put in the pages this time. Somebody took away somebody's scalpel and said, "Ah, you can't." So, one of the things is I smoke and it's a bitch thing. It's hard to quit. So I need a cigarette during this. So I want to look back into this right here and look at all of these buildings that they actually built within 4 years magically. Okay, and then you can still see somebody didn't get to them in time, and they got a little cut happy on some of it. Okay, so let's take another one, 19 or 1893, and let's zoom this out. And magically, boom, they built this city. Now, this one, you can tell once again somebody kind of did a little chopping to put this all together. But just like that, let's look at the years, okay? I mean, let's do a calculator so everyone visually can see this. 1884, okay, minus 1893. Okay, that's 9 years. 9 years. And you built that. Okay, let's go to this one. Now, this is not a Sanborn map, but you can see just magically, just built like that. So let's do the calculator again so we can get a visual on this. We got 1893 minus 1908. It's only 15 years. 15 years and just magically like that. And let's zoom in here. See all of the housing that they put in? I mean, someone went through great detail to hand draw all of these houses. And think about it, where did they get the scale from? I mean, when you realize that our history, to have detailed maps like this, back then, when somebody had to hand draw them out and they built all of this. So let's go back. Let's reverse time again. Maybe. I guess it got mad at me. You know, I've seen a lot of weird things with this as I've been trying to do these videos, like just with photographs and actually watching video and then having to go back. I actually screenshotted where they changed the video. So if you've ever seen the Mandela effect, I actually screenshotted it where the PBS special, which I call the public bullshit station, actually changed the video and edited it because what he said was all the buildings were made out of wood and that's what you'd expect that they burned. Well, that's the thing is I went through Pueblo and it's all stone and brick. And that was the thing. I watched that because it was a marker in time because they took a bunch of photographs, aerial of the view of the destruction of the flood, and I went back in time and I found the same loophole. Massive city just built in the middle of the night. So, if you like it, share it. Once you're awakened through the matrix, you can't go back to sleep. And this is part of the Great Awakening.